First of all, let's talk about what is user-defined function. So the user-defined functions is a new feature that's been introduced recently by Microsoft, and that enables you to write your custom functions that you then can call every time you want to use it. Why you need this? So you need this in order to stop rewriting the default functions that are given to you in DAX. For example, here I have a report that, let's say, I'm interested in sales specifically for Canada region only. So I need to pass a filter to all my different measures where I'm specifically filtering everything for Canada. It's a simple example so that you can easily understand this. So these are my three measures. So first is sales in Canada, where I'm filtering my sales for Canada only. The next is gross sales, where I'm filtering my gross sales for Canada as well. And third measure is profit, that is filtered for Canada. Now, as you can see, I had to repeat myself 3 times and passing this filter 3 times in those measures. Instead, what I could have done is create a custom function that always filters for Canada, every measure that I'm passing to it. Now, how do we write user-defined functions? In order to write it, first, it's a still preview feature, so you need to make sure that you first download the latest Power BI, and then that you go to options and enable it in a preview menu. Now, after that, you can go to DAX Query View and start defining your functions there. So first we need to define function. So, I'm gonna write function that is the signal for Power BI that I'm starting writing my user-defined function. Then I'm providing the name of my function, the parameter name, and two optional parameters. The first one, that is goes after colon, is the data type. So I want to return integer every time I'm using this function. And second is expression. And that one is very important because you don't want to mix this up and you want to know which one to use. So there are two options for this last parameter that you can use: EXPR and VAL. XPR stands for expression, when you want to pass on the expression, or VAL, which stands for value. In my example, I want to use expression. And I will show you what happens if you pass VAL later on. Now, then I'm writing the same functions measure that I typically would write in order to create a measure that is filtered for Canada. But then instead of the actual measure, I'm gonna write the parameter name, which is amount. And then the rest is just the actual filter that I want to implement, which is country equals Canada. After that, I'm gonna hit create function. You will have this button here, and it will be added in the right hand side here in all your functions. And that's it. After that, you can start using it. And to use it, it's very simple. So you just start typing the name of the function. You'll see that it will appear here. And it's gonna ask you to provide the parameter that you have defined in your function, which is amount. And in my case, it's going to be profit. And that's it. Now let's talk about this special parameter, which is called parameter passing mode, expression and value. Why am I using expression and not value? We use expression when we want to perform evaluation of our parameter name, which is amount, within the evaluation context of the whole function that we are creating. So in our case, we want to perform evaluation of the amount parameter after our table is filtered specifically for rows that contain only country Canada. However, if we want to perform evaluation of the amount before we filter our table for Canada rows, then we use value. In my case, because I want to filter my amount after I filter my table to only get the rows of Canada and only then evaluate amount, that's why I need to use expression. If I use VAL, here is incorrect filter function that I have created, where the only change that I've made is changing the passing parameter. I change it to value, and what happened when I use it, when I'm passing it here, incorrect filter value, I'm trying to get the same result that I'm getting here with the Canada gross sales function, which is here, but the behavior is completely different. What I'm getting instead is the whole gross sales amount across all the countries in my table, because the evaluation of some gross sales happens before filter is applied on Canada. And when it's applied on gross sales, which is already evaluated, which is equal to 127 million, nothing changed because it cannot filter the value which has already been evaluated. So because I need the evaluation happened after it's been filtered, I need to use expression as a passing parameter in here. Before you go, I have put together a free top 10 DAX formulas cheat sheet that covers the function I use almost every project. It's a quick reference you can keep open while you are building your reports. It will save you hours of Googling and trial and error. Just grab it from the link in the description below, totally free. You can also download via the same link the PBAX file that I have here in this video. Thank you.